2025 was not here to play. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to my room. Happy New Year, happy 2026. We survived another one. To say that it was a really hard year would be like a complete understatement. So if you ended the year feeling exhausted, emotional, but different, then this video is probably for you too. Going from 2024 to 2025, I was already on this journey to find myself all over again from a couple of situations that had completely transformed the way I thought about not only my life, but the people in my life as well. It's kind of a continuum for me because I feel that I am constantly trying to change this cycle or pattern that I just grew up with in order to change my future and change myself. I feel like it's a never-ending life lesson when it comes to me, and every day or every year I learn something new about myself. Going from 2024 to 2025 was probably one of the most transitional years that I've faced in the entirety of my existence. I really had to dig deep in order to come out of some very dark places these last couple of years. It was clear that I still needed a lot of growth and a lot of learning lessons. 2025 was probably one of my loneliest years because I focused the entirety of 2025 not only on my growth but on my hustle. I had a lot of new ideas and new projects that I was working on, and I just felt that there was no room for anything else. And I just felt that I just dove into that. I found a lot of safety in just what I was trying to grow, as well as me kind of learning how to maneuver this new life that I had just been thrown into. And towards the end of the year, I kind of started to feel like, man, like I didn't really accomplish much, or I didn't really do anything of importance. So I thought in my own brain. But you know, it's always when I like put together montages of my year that I kind of realize like, hey, you did get through some stuff and you did do a lot of things and goals that you set out for yourself through the year. They may not seem grand to me in my own brain, but when I pull myself out of that box and kind of really just make it a outside looking in perspective, I did learn a lot of things in 2025. So I kind of just wanted to share with you guys some of the things that 2025 has taught me. Let's pause the video for a moment. My bestie's texting me. And the first thing that I learned was that silence is golden. And I'm talking in regards to anyone that has like disrespected you. Silence is not a punishment, but it lets you know where you stand in my life. Not everything requires a reaction. And I had to learn to just sit back and not allow my mouth to say something I will regret. I guess simply put, allow people to speak badly on your name. You don't need to defend anything about yourself. If people need to see you as a bad person or as a villain in order to justify their actions, then just let it happen. Because if that's what's going to make them feel better, then that's kind of a weak person mentality, if you think about it. Weak people need justification. but strong people can own it. If something I did rubbed you the wrong way, I have no problem owning it, apologizing, and giving you context in regards to the situation. I don't need to rush to fill the space or the silence in order to prove my point. I kind of just let the silence speak on its own. Silence is probably one of the best gifts you can actually give someone, because it puts all of their feelings back into their own hands, and now they have to sit back and think in depth about the situation and why it is that you're just like, nope, I'm not talking right now. It makes people reflect very deeply. That to me was probably one of like the harsher of lessons that I had learned. I'm not being quiet, or I'm not being silent, or I didn't stop talking to you because I'm being a bitch and I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to be confrontational and I don't want to no. Like, my silence is saying it all for me. And what it's saying is like, if you want respect, you're going to have to give it. As harsh as that silence might feel, it's powerful. Silence probably taught me more than closure ever will. Lesson 2 that 2025 taught me. Growth is lonely. After some bad experiences over these 2 to 3 years, I withdrew from a lot of people. I had to. At that point in my life, I had allowed so much disrespect that I was kind of just sick of it, especially from men. I was so over just men having these like tantrums with me and just allowing them to not only treat me but like disrespect me, that I kind of just did it all very silently and just kind of just withdrew from a lot of people. But I also allowed plenty of room for people to reach out. I didn't know necessarily who I could trust at that time anymore. And that was due to the fact that some people were aware of my mental state at the time, but I don't think that they fully understood what I was going through. I had just gone through one of the most traumatic life experiences that I've had ever gone through. The most violating experience, actually, of my life. I was broken, and still, it's like I just had to continue being Lily. Kind of like, hey, fuck whatever you're going through, we have stuff going on type of mentality. Yeah, I just felt that people wanted compliant, easygoing Lily to just come back. So I did that. But I did it under my own terms. And people just slowly stopped showing up. See, this is the thing about change. All of a sudden you become more emotional. And I'm going to try not get too emotional, but you no longer have the same support you once did. Because now you have boundaries. I knew that I wanted to change, and that meant going silent and separating myself from all of the noise that was around me and in my brain. I really had to reflect on a lot of things, and that included my friendships. But I had to do that in order to come back stronger and better for those friendships that supported me through that loneliness and through my passions. But I had to do that in order to come back stronger and better for those friendships that did stick around through my loneliness, through my silence. I wanted to be better for them. I guess in some retrospect, everyone can know that I'm not a quitter. I didn't quit because I'm still here doing this. Even through all of that pain, I was still doing this. That isolation that I was feeling was the gap from who I was and who I was becoming. And that maybe people weren't going to like this new version of me. And I had to be okay with that. So thank you for the ones that actually stuck around through all of that and supported my growth, motivated me to keep going on my YouTube channel. And to everyone that didn't question my silence, like, I genuinely love you all. Third lesson that 2025 taught me, and that is how good it feels to actually be seen. And I'm not talking about being seen here through this lens, on a camera, on screen. I'm talking about being seen at your core, as a person, as a human being. The people that can truly see you at your core and love you anyway are probably some of the best people that you need to keep around in your life. I have a best friend, and she is someone who I can be my true, genuine, 100% Lily to the core, and she's never going to judge me on it, ever. No matter what I do, she's not here to place any life judgments upon me. She has seen me at my highest, and she has seen me at my keel, or my lowest. She was part of this long, sad journey, quiet journey, to find my value and worth. And she never dismissed or judged any part of it. I would say our friendship is so solid that our bestie spidey senses tend to go off at the right moments, because during all of that silence and loneliness and disconnect that I had with people, she always knew when I needed just a quick, like, a quick pick-me-up, or a quick check-in, really. A quick, hey, haven't heard from you in a couple of months, weeks, just letting you know I love you and hope you're okay. Just that quick, hey, how are you? I love you, is sometimes all that I needed. And she never judged me. And what I mean by she never judged me by all of this is that she would send those messages and I wouldn't reply for days, weeks. I keep having to cut this because I'm getting emotional. All she wanted was for her best friend to be okay. And that is all anyone really needs from someone when they're struggling. I never had to explain anything to her. She just knew me and saw me. Knew that I would eventually figure all of this out. And all I have to say is I am glad that I told you that Green Day sucked when we were in 7th grade, because that was the start of a beautiful friendship. And before anyone comes at me, no, I did not think that Green Day sucked, okay? I just told her that because she hung out with someone who I didn't like, and she was just guilty by association. The fourth thing that 2025 has taught me: not everyone deserves access to your softness. I never thought I was going to ever fall in love again, truly. I was so jaded that the thought of men repulsed me. The thought of love, the thought of relationships, the thought of anything, even even any type of connection was like repulsive to me. I was so like scarred from my previous relationship that I felt completely done with men. But I was really nudged into going on a date by one of my friends that I reluctantly actually went on a first date with a guy. And it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I was very lucky to have found a very sweet man who showed me what it's actually like to be in an emotionally healthy relationship. I've never come across someone who I can voice my dreams, my thoughts, my aspirations, my dislikes, my my weird quirkiness. I just never came across someone who was willing to hear me out. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I never was able to be so open and upfront with who I am with somebody else, and they just take it like they take it honorably, and it doesn't fall on deaf ears. Someone who actually has a conversation with me, and not just a surface one or a confusing one or a dense or just empty conversation. It's someone who is in the same mental and emotional conversation with me. He has also weathered the storm with me and been through my lowest of lows and highest of highs, and didn't run away from any of it. When I talk about being seen, my boyfriend also falls in that category. He truly sees me the way and I truly see him. I never thought I would meet someone who I can openly share my softer side, because he also brings it out of me. I've always wanted, and this is as simple as I've ever thought since I was a teenager. I've always just wanted someone who would make me feel like, fuck yeah, that's my girlfriend, and hold my hand in the process. And that's him. I don't need much. I just need that. And it makes me completely happy. I think as women, we need to understand that we have a pedestal. And it's an honor to allow these men to sit at our table. Our softness isn't our weakness. People just tend to misuse it. And it's up to us to figure out who has access to that softness. Because your time, energy, and presence is part of your value. So in a sense, don't waste your time on people who try and crush that sparkle or that color that you bring to life, because they can't stand how high your value is. I think your softness needs to be handled by a man who truly sees your worth. Because love without respect is just entitlement. If he gets your mind, your body, your time, your energy, then the balance in that is simply consistency, effort, and respect. And that's not hard to acquire from someone. And if you're not getting that, then clearly your softness doesn't belong there. Because without that, that is exactly what crushes your thought of value and your pedestal. you need to be cared for as if you were a China doll. So definitely pick and choose who has access to your softness, because you don't want to just waste it on anyone. So those were some of the lessons that 2025 taught me. I know that there's more, but I felt like these were the more core ones that I really had to work on consistently. And these were probably some of my biggest lessons learned through the whole year. 2025 broke me, but it also built me in ways that I didn't know that I needed. And it definitely stripped things from me, like people, habits, versions of myself that I thought I needed to survive. But I would say the bigger of the lessons is that I can totally survive discomfort and not have to shrink myself any longer in order to make people feel comfortable or in order to keep anyone around anymore. I think the only thing that I want for 2026 is to reconnect with those friendships that really did stick around. I think I've spent enough time alone and just need to get back to nurturing those relationships again. Now that I'm a little bit better off, I do want to show like gratitude to the ones that did stick around with me and weathered it all along with me. And I kind of want to just like share some core memories with them again. I feel that I've missed out on a lot these last couple of years, for sure. I also hope that they will be receptive to this new version of me, and if not, then that's okay too, because I'll never be her again. I don't miss who I was, I just understand her a little bit more now. And I also realize that letting go of people doesn't necessarily mean that you failed. It just means that you finally chose yourself. And for me, protecting my peace was way more important than being liked. So thank you for hanging out with me in my room today and listening to the things that 2025 has taught me. And let's just hope for a cooler 2026 because it's needed. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to hang out with me here in my room, hear some of my stories, or see some of my adventures when I'm out in the real world and not in my room, which they are coming. I do have ideas. I just have to execute them. And as always, guys, I will see you on the next one.